2. This is Victoria's Secret Crazy Podcast. We're going to be talking about Bad Roommate. And this is actually the last discussion of Victoria's episodes that I filmed. Time went quick, huh, Bennett?
Yeah, it seems like just yesterday we were talking about the first episode, which is special that you were a part of the first episode and the fact that you were only supposed to be in the pilot. And here you are, one of the last episodes of the whole series, and Andre's grandma just kept coming back.
Yeah.
Fan appreciation.
They love the crazy.
And I love playing it. It was one of the most fun acting jobs that I ever had. I gotta say it's my favorite. Yeah, it's quite an experience, and I'm still amazed to this very day how many fans there are of this show. And thank you guys. Thank you, grand fans. And Bad Roommate, my appearance was very short, but I made an impact.
Can I remind you, because I don't want to, we're going to get into it, so I don't want to jump ahead, but technically another character dressed up as you, so we could say that you had even more of an impact than just your own.
Yeah. And I know exactly who you're talking about. So, okay, the scene begins, for me, my scene is Andre's on the couch. He's trying to write a song. He's messing around with his keyboard, his little portable keyboard he has on a coffee table. He's leaned over. You know when you do things in a living room and you try, whether it's eating or playing a piano or whatever, and he's into it. He's trying to get his creative juices flowing, but he lives with his crazy grandma. And of course, that makes it 1,000 times more difficult, But when I was reviewing the clips of the show, I noticed something I never noticed before. In the living room, on the credenza behind the couch that Andre's sitting on are family pictures. There's a picture of pancakes.
What?
Yes, go back and look.
Oh my God.
There's a picture of pancakes in a frame. A big pat of butter on top with the syrup. Like it's a family member.
Wow.
It's
That's so weird. Because she's afraid of pancakes.
I know, but Marilyn loves pancakes.
Well, we interviewed Tristan Dally, who designed the set. Was that his idea?
I don't know.
Any one of the crew members?
I don't know. I wish it had been flipped where we did this episode before Tristan so I could ask him about that. But yeah, pancakes were part of the family photos. So the first time you see Andre's grandma, she's like in a pink robe. My notes say white, but it was pink. We looked at the clip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was in a pink robe and she had all this shampoo in her hair and it was sticking all out. That was not a wig. That was my hair. And they better be glad I'm a dedicated actor because the sister don't like her hair being messed with.
So what was the stuff? Was it actual?
It was actually shampoo.
Wow.
Was
it a brand name? No, I'm just joking.
I think it was Prel.
That's
what I found.
I
found the pancakes. Oh my God. And it was actually so much more obvious than I thought it would be. It's like, that was one of the bigger frames. You see that?
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, look at the pat of butter. Look at the syrup.
Yeah, it looks good. Now I want some pancakes.
See, that is the brilliance of the art department because they look at the little things. It's like Dan's writing. You remember the little things throughout the whole series. You got to remember, this is at the end of the series too, so they're taking this back. Talk about full circle right here, right? Andre's grandma in the very first episode, she's afraid of pancakes, and then somehow, but she's afraid of them, and they're in the picture. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, but maybe she was trying to face her fears.
Character development.
That's right. You could do all these little secret things. I think Tristan called them Oreos or treats or something like that that they would stick on the set. Remember he made that comment?
Yes.
So that might be one of those things that he stuck that on the set just to see who would notice and who would make the connection. So, but her back is always to that picture, so she never really saw it. She was just so focused on Andre. She comes running in the first time she interrupts him, and it looked like she interrupted him just as he was about to get where he was trying to get creatively. And this is where these famous lines come from, the Bad Roommate episode. There's a lot of famous lines that people like to scream and repeat that came from this episode. And the first one was, she screams his name first, Andre! And then she runs in, It's raining in the bathroom. And I added my own physicality, my own actress expertise. I didn't say raining. I did my hands and I said, it's raining. I made sure my nails were looking good that day.
That's right. They always look good.
Oh, thank you. Andre says, Grandma, you were in the shower, which I thought was curious because I was fully clothed.
You put that robe on pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know.
Or you were in the shower with your robe on because you're afraid of... I'm not even going to go there, but you know.
That would have been funny if I was all wet, my clothes and everything. But that might have been dangerous. Me running in wet clothes, I probably would have slipped in and messed myself up.
It's almost like she didn't understand what a shower was.
Yeah.
It might have been part of the psychosis. Like she did something and then forgot why she did it.
Or she had a split personality, so personality A turned on the shower and personality B was afraid of it. But like you mentioned, she always listened to Andre, whatever he told her.
I like that.
She would snap back to reality just like that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a t-shirt, just put, okay,
Andre, which is one of the really famous lines right next to Andre.
She was all calm. It was almost like that was her moment of
Once he told her she was in the shower, she was like, I'm in the shower. And she runs. I think she said that. I was so tripped out over that pancake picture. It was just like, that just threw my whole game off. But she said something. I believe she said, I'm in the shower, and she runs out. And he says, okay, I think I got it. He bends over again. Just as he's about to put his hands on the keyboard, she screams, Andre! She always announces before she comes by screaming his name.
But everyone should do that. I mean, that's very proper. Because some people start talking and you don't know they're talking to you. But
That's true.
Sure she got their attention before she spoke.
Yeah.
So that shows she had some class, you know.
That's what made her a bad roommate, I guess. So she runs back to the bathroom. She's in there like not even a minute, and she screams his name again. Andre! She comes running in again, hair sticking all up with the shampoo all in it. Her little robe was neat, though. That belt was tight. So, it was all on her. And then she says, there's a helicopter in the kitchen. People love to repeat that line. There's a helicopter in the kitchen. And that's where my acting came in again.
What did you do?
I spread my arms out like a helicopter. And he's like, Grandma, that's a ceiling fan. I said something about orange juice, and I ran the other way. It's always interesting when you go onto a set and to do a scene, and I was just amazed at what Tristan and the crew had done to put that together. It looked like any grandma's living room. I mean, it really did, with the blue couch and the floral curtains and, all of that. That's amazing. If I could have any question that I could ask you, Dan Schneider, I'm going to ask you about those pancakes. Who knows? If I ever meet Dan, I'm going to ask him what was the logic.
I have a story about going to buy syrup, but it's way too off topic.
Hey, you know what? This is our podcast, so we could talk about whatever we want. Share it if you want.
I'll keep it to 15 seconds. My mom was making waffles. We didn't have syrup. I go to CVS to get the syrup.
Mm-hmm.
I get in the line. Uh-oh, where's my wallet? I start freaking out. I'm thinking, man, someone's already probably stolen it by now. All of a sudden I hear, excuse me, are you Bennett? Yes. A customer found your wallet and returned it. Here you go.
Wow. Isn't that nice?
God bless him. Two weeks ago, we had a neighbor that knocked on our door. And I knew people lived in that apartment. I never seen them. This lady came to the door. I think this is your wallet, and gave it to it was my wallet, and this lady found it. So I know how you felt.
It was amazing. And you were able to get your syrup.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are good people. That's why you have to stay focused on the good. And speaking of good, Tori knew that Andre was having these difficulties to write the song. So she invites him to come over to her house and stay a couple of nights there. Yeah, to write the song. The title of the show, Bad Roommate, did not just reference Andre's grandma. It also referenced Andre. He was not a good roommate.
He gets it from you, though.
Yeah.
Runs in the family.
I know.
That's when he knew.
That's when he knew. Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, he brought his bad habits. But she was trying to be so helpful, going back to what you referenced, Tori puts on a wig, right? A grandma wig. She puts on a shawl, bends over, and she's screaming, Andre!
She did all the mannerisms.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
that
was
was
like
awesome.
all shaky and fidgety and trying to help him unlock those creative
Make 'em feel at
juices.
home.
Yeah, because he said it's not the same as, at home. I'm always getting interrupted and I'm always working through that, and it helps me with my writing. So she's a good friend. She tries to bring the crazy. Didn't work though.
That just shows how strong of a character Grandma was.
Yeah.
They have her to do you.
Well, there were times where Andre's grandma even appeared without appearing. Her voice would be over the phone, or they would talk about her and her bird Larry. So it was like she was always on their minds. But when you know somebody crazy like that, you're gonna watch your back.
Were you on set watching Tori or Victoria film as Andre's grandma, or did you only see it on TV?
I only saw it on TV. Because for some reason, I guess because it's funny and it kind of breaks up their concentration. My scenes come last. And when I think about it, what they had me do would usually be last, especially with them having all that shampoo in my hair and, and all that kind of stuff. The wardrobe took a little while. They wanted just the right robe, and they decided on the bright pink, which I can understand because you could just see that blur as I'm running back and forth and, all that kind of stuff. So when you're working with children, they can only work so many hours. So they get their filming done first. And then everything else they would do like that afterward. But I had a habit of reading the entire script. When I would get a script, I knew she was going to do that, but I didn't watch her film it. But see, what people don't understand, there's a lot of setup and breakdown and setup and breakdown.
You don't know when they're going to do it.
You don't know what order. What you see is not the way they film it. Yeah. And if you don't know exactly when it's going to happen, you could... And then you should be focusing on what you have to do as an actor. That's right. That's why some auditions can be so distracting, because some people are nervous and they talk. They want to have a conversation.
Oh, God, no. Before you go in, you got dialogue. And some people, to quench their anxiety, they'll talk.
They want to talk. When you should be learning that copy, that script.
And they're not allowing you to focus, which is very rude.
Yeah. But rude is kind of like the word bad, so we'll get back to bad roommate. Andre was a bad roommate. She tried to help him at first with the shawl and with the wig, but that didn't work. He would get up at 3 a.m. and try to get a song out of his head or something like that. That didn't work. They left him alone in the house, and Trina was upstairs doing something. Tori and her mom's coming in the door with a bunch of bags, so they were out shopping. And mom's like, I got a surprise. I made family pot pie. We had pot pie last night. Pot pie is good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Marie Callender's. Yeah. Yeah, we bought some Marie Callender's, and it was good. She made some for the family. It's in a big bowl so they all could eat it. They opened the door, and Andre is just finishing it off. He's eating it. And he was feeling good after he ate it, because he's like, hey, threw his arms up when they came in. It was like,
he was oblivious.
I know. He and the mom's like, what are you doing? And he's like, the oven went ding.
Yeah, the oven went ding.
Yeah.
The timer it's ready.
Yeah, he pulled it out. Trina comes downstairs. She was craving it, man, because she licked the bowl. And that's when Andre decided to leave, which was good because they were going to kick him out anyway. Yeah. I don't even remember if he was able to write a song or not. I think he did, because that would have been unfinished business. Do you remember, Bennett? Was he able to write the song?
You know what? It was because Tori dressed up like you that he was able to write the song.
Okay, cool.
So really, that's the thing that's so crazy about all this. Victorious didn't get a finale, and I think different characters may have had better senses of closure, if you will. But your character, to me, got the perfect closure, because if you think about it, and this is almost giving me chills, I'm serious. You were Andre's muse, because at the end of the day, he left his house thinking that it was such a problem. But really, he realized you were the person, because we can wonder maybe that's how he wrote all of his songs, was sitting at
Yeah.
home waiting for you to run in and say, Andre! I won't do it because I don't want to ruin the original classic person who does it, but saying something crazy and then, all right, then now let's write another verse. Andre! And then back to another chorus. So I think that led us into how he writes his songs, and I really think that you, in all of your crazy glory, were his muse, and Tori just had to bring it out in him, and I'm sure that after that event of writing that song, Faster Than Boys, that he probably moved back in with you, and you kept coming in and out of the house and in and out of the living room saying all kinds of crazy stuff, and that's how he would keep writing songs.
That cleared his brain.
Because he would have to stop and then stop and start, and that would stir up his creative juices. And
you got to think about it. It didn't really bother him that much, because why wasn't he writing it in his bedroom?
That's true.
And close the door.
He could have done that.
So he was in the living room where he knew
she was going to come through. He knew she was going to come through. When it ended, he reached his goal. He was able to write the song. Yeah. Everybody was happy. And like you said, Bennett, that was the last episode that Andre's grandma was in. And I think the show ended not too long after that. I'm not sure, but I think it did.
Yeah, there were 4 more episodes aired. Now, Andre and Tori kind of had a collective goal in that episode, and it involves one of our former guests, Mr. Cool Kojak, aka Kojeezy.
Yeah.
And they kind of, in a way, didn't reach their goal because they were trying to write a song together and they didn't pass the baby test, as we talked about it.
He hated the song.
You guys got to go back and listen, because a lot of the people that we've interviewed were part of this episode. First of all, Tori's mom, Jen Carta, was in this episode. She was the one getting all riled up about the family pot pie. We interviewed her back in March. You could check that one out. And then just 2 weeks ago, we talked to Cool Kojak. So he wrote Faster Than Boys with Victoria Justice, and then played the music producer Kojeezy. So to answer your question, there were four more that aired after, but it never really got the proper series finale where we had, all of the answers to what's happening next, or that closure that iCarly got, or any of most of, I think, all of Dan's shows, with the exception of, I think, Game Shakers, all got some closure, like a proper series finale.
Yeah. They usually do that for shows, especially if they have a strong fan base, because people have questions. They wonder.
Oh, Sam and Cat didn't get one. But,
Oh, that's right. That's right. It was, it's a weird thing, because you never really. I'm not a writer, and I don't know anything about the business end. I'm just an actress. And so I would go there when they would call me, do what I have to do, and leave and go back when they call me again. So it wouldn't be unusual for me not to hear from them for a while, because my appearances were spaced out, from what I remember. And so when it did end, I found out through a fan. That's why I call you guys grand fans, because you guys are grandma fans. And and then the Tori Fixes Beck and Jade episode. Remember how those kids mobbed me? We went out to get something to eat, because I didn't know what was going on, but they would suggest I stay in my dressing room when they would have these scenes with a bunch of kids. I just did what I was told. But when they said the food was ready, I went out and to get something to eat, the two of us. As they spotted me and they came stampeding towards me, and I thought it was funny. So when the show ended, nobody told me. A lot of people didn't get a call. We found that out from people that we interviewed. Nobody got any kind of notice.
His friend told him.
Yeah. I found out through a fan. That's why I call you guys grand fans, because you guys are grandma fans. And the grand fan asked me what I was going to do next. I was like, oh, I don't know. I guess I'm going to ask God and see what he wants me to do.
Keep on going.
Yeah. And then that night, I dreamed I was a stand-up comedian. I got up that morning and I felt a strong impression that I should look into stand-up comedy. So I found a 6-week class that I could go 2 nights a week, because I was still working keep that in mind. I was still working, and I decided to call myself Crazy Cool Grandma, and this is how God works. When I made that decision to do stand-up comedy, the office manager who controls my comings and goings and approval of all that, she decided she wanted to help me. She wanted to be my manager. She was even like getting headshots made for me. And I ended up at the Comedy Store because of my class that I took with a guy named Joe Falzarano. And he was a former comic that had written for people like Jay Leno and Jimmy Kimmel, and he had a great reputation. If you're thinking of taking up comedy, he's the perfect person to do, because with me, with classes, if they last too long, it becomes a struggle. It was like 6 weeks, 2 nights. It would start off with writing. It would teach you how to write a joke, how to be concise, how to drop words, that you don't need. Because most sets are timed. You could have a minute, 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. So, you have to make it really concise, really tight. That's a skill you could always use, no matter what. Then he would teach you microphone presence, how to hold the microphone, what to do with it, how to, and then stage presence, how to look at people, how to engage, be engaging, get people to feel like they're doing the joke with you. And I learned there's a different type of comics. I was a storyteller type of a comic. Some people, they just have like little one-liners or little zingers or little things, that they would do like that. So you have to figure out what type of comic. And after you finish the class, the graduation was going up to the Improv in Hollywood and doing your set.
In front of a real crowd.
A real crowd. You could invite your family, but there were people there.
Yeah, that showed who really wanted to do it.
Really wanted to do it. He didn't tell us there were bookers there.
Real comedians, they're not nervous. They got to do it.
They have fun with it.
They want to do it.
They want to do it. And that's how it was for me. It was fun. And it was weird because I felt bad for some of my classmates. One guy was throwing up. What?
And one guy had to drink.
He was getting drunk
because he was so nervous.
Yeah, he couldn't deal with it.
Well, how's that? That's not going to make things better.
It's not. It's not.
No, you can't.
In the material, some of them had, one dude's whole set was about roaches.
And that's all he talked about.
And he said, talk about what you know. And I was thinking, this dude know a lot about roaches. I talked about being a grandma. That was kind of crazy, kind of cool. Aging, that type of thing.
Man. She blew it up.
And after my set, this guy approached me and said he was a booker for the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know if I were interested in appearing in one of their smaller rooms called the Belly Room. And I said, yeah, sure. And that was kind of the beginning of it. I did a couple of sets there. Then he moved me up to the main room, and it was, it was fun. And Denise was booking me at family barbecues. And it was great.
That's a real mess, honestly.
It is. It is.
Drunk. They're over there,
Yeah, and they're like, shit, get out of here.
My ribs.
Yeah, you ain't funny.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, old folks' homes.
Oh, honesty to the max.
Oh yeah, they don't have time to waste.
You really want to do it. If somebody is like, don't like what you do, and you're not serious about it, you'll stop.
Yep.
You'd be like, oh God, I'm not funny.
And I would even test my jokes out at work on the staff at work. We'd all get in a conference room, and I'd get up there and test out the jokes on them. And they would actually come to my shows and stuff. And they'd be like,
yeah, I know, they couldn't believe it.
That's Marilyn?
Yeah.
And I know we're veering away from Victorious, but it kind of, that was a path I was led on after the show ended, is God jumped me into something else. I eventually left the Comedy Store, and we produced our own comedy shows, because it is a vulgar environment. The jokes were kind of vulgar, and I would always get in trouble because I have a big mouth, and I would kind of yell out stuff and my yell out would be funnier than their joke. And the last straw was, there was a girl on stage talking about she would have sex for a chicken wing. And I said, not even a breast?
People laugh at that more than her.
Get that breast, girl. Get that big piece.
Crazy.
But it's hard being a comic, man. They would give you pizza. It was up to you to get people in there, and you would get a percentage of that, right? But they would give you a free pizza and stuff. And I swear, some of them comics did not eat until that night. You could tell.
Yeah, a lot of those comedy shows, they don't give you
They give you nothing.
They say, oh, yeah, we're going to have this producer here, producer there. And they have a little section where the producers sit, and you look over there and
nobody's there.
They're just trying to draw you.
Yeah, to bring in people. I had invited a family member, and the guy that books me, he would also get up there and he would do his act. He's doing his act. My family member's up there screaming, "You stink!"
Aisha,
yeah.
I looked at her like, I know she started drinking.
She drank a little bit too much, but I didn't want to say her name. Thanks, babe.
Well,
and so
nobody knows.
And so she's harassing the guy that books me.
Oh God!
And she's saying, "You stinking! I don't like your jazz." At the end of the show, we're outside in front of the Comedy Store, and the guy that books, we're talking. He's talking about future plans. She walks up, and I says, "Oh, I want you to meet my cousin." And they looked at each other, da 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 da, like two gunfighters.
Oh man!
You know, he looked at her like he wanted to kill her. She looked at him like she wanted to kill him because he called her the B word. He said, "Shut up, B." You know, you have to be able to, I would just laugh at somebody, but I never got heckled. No, I never. Who's going to heckle grandma?
Yeah. Not. I was in the audience.
Yeah.
This is an episode of a show about being a comedian waiting to happen.
Yeah. It was funny. But that's it. That's what I did after Victorious ended. That went on for a little while. It transitioned into us producing our own shows, and I discovered social media during the pandemic. Percy and I, we were all in YouTube. We had some fun, right?
Oh, my favorite is Andre's Grandma versus Biscuits.
Oh,
you have to watch that if you have not. Oh my God, you'll laugh till I remember being in pain from laughing. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's funny. A lot of people love that one. That one got like over a million views. Yeah. And it was just a simple idea, like the ideas I come up for the act out, which I guess is a good way to wrap this up.
Part of Victorious not getting a proper finale is there wasn't that sense of closure. But funny enough, you both got to go to the iCarly rap party.
Yes.
So are there any memories from that event?
I remember how nice everyone was.
Yeah. On their good behavior. And it was on a penthouse of some building on Sunset.
Yeah. The food was amazing. Yeah. They had, studios, they give the best parties. Open bar, and they didn't have any entertainment because a lot of those kids got up and sang and did different things. They were the entertainment. Yeah.
So other Victorious cast members were there too, I imagine?
Yes, yes. They because we had done the iParty with Victorious episode.
So you technically are an iCarly cast member in that regard.
Yes.
Yeah, they all knew each other. So
they had combined it, and we were kind of hanging out with Ariana. She's just such a sweet, personable girl.
She's the type of person that once you come in, she comes towards you and introduces herself.
Her mother's the same way.
She doesn't stand by and just be like creepy looking, like something. She's afraid.
She's fearless when it comes to approaching people and getting to know people. That's where those pictures come from that I would post on my Instagram of us at that party. Us with Andre and us with Ariana. And
she really wanted to take a picture with you.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to take a picture with her. And she was kind of basically brushed me off. Like, I want to take a picture with Grandma. Okay. That's why you see me standing there with a drink next to him.
She's sweet. Yeah, she's very sweet.
God bless her heart.
Yeah. The time we had the scene together with me screaming the butterfly out of her ear. We ran our lines together, and she was just so sweet. She's like, "This is a very important moment, Marilyn, and I want to make sure."
That's the way she talks.
I want to make sure I get this right. Will you run lines with me? I said, "Sure." She knew the script. I mentioned this before. She and I'm sure the others did too, but they made it so easy for you where you could just say line. There's someone standing there with the script to help you if you didn't know it. But I put it up on myself to make sure I knew my lines, and I knew the scenes before my line and the scenes afterwards. So I knew where I was supposed to come in, because that's a big part of it. It's supposed to be like real life. So you can't be thinking, oh, is this where I talk? Or, that type of thing. You have to be on point.
The director, you'll do your whole thing and they say, well, go back and say what you said after this line. So you got to kind of like right in the middle.
In the middle
of the script, you got to remember what you said after you did that line.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't say all the time. Sometimes they'll say, let's go from the top or back to one.
Yeah.
They'll go right in the middle. And say when you said this, start there. Because they call it pickups. They may ask you to say it a different way. They do that in auditions as well. They'll say it angry, now say it afraid, or say it nervous, or different things like that. And then they have a choice when they're editing. And then sometimes they'll say, we're going to add some lines, and you got to remember the lines like right there on the spot. And then there's like 30 people behind the cameras watching. And these are children doing this. So think about all that too. These are children that's juggling all those balls and doing it. Doing it good, doing it with perfection, and bringing in the comedy part of it, because comedy, when you're watching it, it seems easy, but if it's off, if the timing's off, it falls flat. I'm sure you've seen shows, I've seen shows where it didn't seem quite right, and they would have the laugh track in there to assist them, but it just didn't hit right. You know what I mean? Yeah, and those laugh tracks, when you're doing what you're doing, they're not playing the laugh track. No, you're just acting. The finished product, they put it in. So to help move it along, but you could still tell if it's off, So great, folks. Speaking of off, it's time for Andre's grandma. So thanks for watching this Victoriously Crazy podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share if you like this podcast. Yeah. We talked a lot about ourselves, but we had no guests. Can I tell you something? Sure. I asked you about the iCarly rap party, and the thing is, I know that we've discussed all the Victorious episodes, but this podcast isn't going anywhere. In fact, a guest that we have coming up, not next week, but in a couple of weeks, it's our second Victoriously Crazy iCarly crossover. I'm not going to tell you who it is. Okay. But he's quite crazy. So stay tuned, because this podcast isn't going anywhere just because we're done talking about the episodes. Yes, I know it isn't, Bennett. And thank you, people that love the crew that we talked to. A lot of people made comments about, I love that you're, interviewing crew members and people behind the scenes, because they're a huge part of any show. That's right. Let's do the act out. Andre's grandma's act out. Since we're talking about roommates, I thought it might be good to have Andre's grandma interviewing you, Percy. You can be Mr. Anthony. And she decided she wants you as a roommate, but she has some questions for you about some things that you do. She wants to know if you're on the same page as her. So she's going to be asking you some questions about, do you do this? Do you do that? What's our relationship? You're going to be my potential roommate. In the back room. We're going to be renting out the very far back bedroom. Okay. Because times are hard, rents are high, Okay. Roll. Mr. Anthony? Yes, that's my name. I got some questions before you come into my house. Do you brush your teeth? Daily. Not only do I brush them, I scrape them. I think we're good. I like you. I know that's right. Okay. I was raised properly. Yeah. Next. Okay. When you make up your bed, do you comb your sheets? Are you kidding me? I thought I was the only one that did that. You take it after you make it up and you better believe comb. Hey. Don't forget the pillow. Oh, yeah. I comb both sides. Oh, yeah. Do you? There's no other way. Well, here's a welcome to my house gift. Oh, man. Okay. This is wonderful. I got plants. There's plants in your room. Yes. Plants can be stinky sometimes. Yeah. Do you put
deodorant on your plants?
You're kidding me. You know what? I grew up with plants. My mother loves plants. And I didn't like...
I don't care about that. Do you
Yes.
put deodorant on the underside of your plants
You best believe
so they don't stink?
You better believe it. Plants can stink. People don't know that.
Last question.
Yeah.
Do you put hair cream on your carpet to lay it down? That way you don't trip.
Oh my
Your toenails don't get caught.
You know what? That's a hack that I learned from my aunt, Nellie.
Yeah.
And no one believed me. And I tell people that and no one believed me.
Okay.
I believe
Sign the lease.
I will sign the lease because we're going to get along just fine,
Here.
Grandma.
You can use my pen.
Oh, no. Oh, yes. Wow, what a lovely pen that is.
Thank you.
Long handle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's wet on the end.
That's okay.
That's how you sign.
Scene.